All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. In today's stream, we are going to be talking about episode 15, Pirates versus Ninja. I'm not really excited for that, but in case you guys don't know what happened yesterday, let me just get that out of the way first. First of all, the community tab completely messed me up. I went ahead and posted a thing maybe about an hour or so before the actual stream was supposed to go live, talking about how I wasn't going to be able to stream because I woke up feeling like someone kicked me in the face. So I went back to bed, posted the community post, and woke up about 3 hours later, and the post wasn't actually there. So YouTube kind of restricted the post on me, so I had to post it again. So some of you guys might not have even seen the post before the stream was supposed to go live. So sorry about that. But we're back here today. I'm feeling okay. Thanks for everyone checking in. I'm fine. Drank some water, got some sleep, and now we're good to go. So let's talk about this episode. And again, apologies not streaming yesterday. The community tab is entirely to blame on that one. I blame YouTube. But let's go ahead and get started here. In case you guys are just joining us for the very first time, we stream Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. And in these streams, we'll be talking about an episode review plus a Q&A. Obviously, the episode review will not take up the entire stream, so yeah, we'll jump into Q&A after we get done with the review. And obviously, we're going to be updating this day by day. I'll let you guys know on my community tab, and hopefully it'll actually post when I want it to. So, and I won't restrict the post for whatever reason. I'm not even sure why it got restricted in the first place. But we're back here with Pirates versus Ninja. Famously, one of my least favorite episodes of the entire series. Not the best thing ever. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So, again, for those of you guys keeping up with drink lore, we got water today, just a regular bottle of water because I'm still like, you know, I'm still trying to recover. Let's go ahead and get started here. We'll let the episode slideshow run in the background as we break down the plot of this episode, then we'll jump into the good and the bad stuff. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So the episode begins with a flashback featuring the pirate crew of Captain Soto, and they pretty much crash the Destiny's Bounty, and that's the first thing that we see in this episode is that little established backstory there with the bounty, and it basically wrecks and presumably kills all the pirates on board. We jump to the modern day, and the ninja are training Lloyd, and Master Wu comments on how, hey, students become the teacher, the ninja are actually training Lloyd, so good stuff there. And they need a new place to train Lloyd, though their one-bedroom apartment isn't going to do it, so they get to Grand Sensei Dareth's Mojo Dojo, and this is where I pretty much fall apart. So, they go to Dareth's dojo, and Dareth introduces himself and pretty much challenges the ninja right off the bat, and it's pretty interesting. Dareth is easily one of my all-time favorite characters, except I'm just kidding. But he basically challenges the ninja. Kai pretty much beats him, and they're forced to, or Dareth is forced to let them use the dojo. So yeah, that's pretty much what goes on there. Meanwhile, Garmadon is still struggling with his mega weapon. He doesn't really know how to use it yet, and he's trying to use it. He tries to use it on the Ultra Dragon, which just got done recovering from its battle with the Great Devourer, and it doesn't really work all that well. The snakes all laugh at him. Poor Garmadon. But Garmadon still tries with the mega weapon, doesn't really know how it works, and eventually finds Captain Soto's log somewhere in the bounty, reads about it, and then magically wishes for them to appear, and they appear. So the mega weapon, famously doesn't have the power to destroy, only has the power to create. So that's what Garmadon learns in this moment. Something that he also learns is that pirates probably weren't the best thing to, I guess, summon on the ship because they completely take over and lock Garmadon and Serpentine up in the city, or not in the city, rather in the in the what do you call it, the prison. I'm just reading my notes here, and they fly to Ninjago City. Forgive my dyslexia. I actually am dyslexic, so I can say that. Meanwhile, Lloyd is actually training with the ninja, and he proceeds to break a lot of boards and pretty much summons the power of the Scythe that quakes. So interesting stuff there. The ninja comments on how he can use all of the elemental powers. So that's gonna be Lloyd's setup there. It's gonna be his, I guess, time to use all the powers, if you will. But anyway, meanwhile, Dareth pretty much tries to one up Lloyd, immediately fails. But then the pirates attack. The pirates attack Ninjago City, and it's not fun. The ninjas see the pirates, and they immediately see that Dareth has been captured by them. So, right off the bat, there you go. Dareth has been captured. I personally probably would have let him let him go on the ship, but that's just me. The ninja, of course, are not me. The ninja are actually heroic. So, yeah, they say Staff of Quakes in this episode. I had to turn on subtitles to make sure I wasn't mishearing things, but yeah, they say Staff of Quakes instead of Scythe of Quakes. This episode's got a lot of errors. A lot of them are, of course, voiceover mistakes. So, but anyway, the ninja disguise themselves and pretty much sneak aboard the pirate ship to go ahead and try to rescue Dareth and also take down the pirates. Doesn't work all that well. Dareth gets thrown overboard, but he's saved by the Ultra Dragon and Lloyd. The ninja then take on the pirates on the boat, have a little bit of a battle there on the Destiny's Bounty, Pirates versus Ninja, as the title of this episode would suggest. So, pretty much on the nose with that. Lloyd also joins the battle, and as soon as Lloyd joins, the shenanigans just go up in terms of how, I guess, drastic things are. Lloyd takes on the pirates himself and actually performs spinjitzu, and that's pretty cool, actually. Lloyd performs spinjitzu for the first time in this episode. Very, very good stuff. And he also attacks with his elemental powers. Unfortunately, that is way too much for the bounty to handle, and the ninja pretty much trip over their own feet, if you will, as the pirates kind of capture them and take over. But then Nia appears randomly and saves them all. So, yeah, pretty anticlimactic there. But the day is saved, and Nia saved them all the pirates are kind of taken into jail, and Garmadon and the Serpentine are attempted to be arrested, but obviously they escape. Garmadon steals back the Black Bounty and flies away, vowing to return at some point, and the episode ends with some banter between the ninja and Dareth. So, that'll do it for the plot. I do need to make a note of something really quick that I forgot to do. There we go. Let's get into the good and bad stuff. Good stuff. Let's start off with some good stuff first, because this episode isn't all bad. Obviously, it's one of my least favorite episodes, but it's not. It's not awful. It's not like I don't know. It's not the worst thing out there. I've seen worse in terms of Ninjago, for being honest. But good stuff. First of all, Lloyd's powers. He uses Spinjitzu and taps into his elemental powers for the very first time in this episode. Very good stuff. It was really cool seeing him use Spinjitzu. I remember not expecting that when I was younger, but it was really cool to see him actually use Spinjitzu. Good stuff when the episode ends. Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But then also, aside from Lloyd's powers, I do need to mention the Mega Weapon. We see that being used for the first time and what it's capable of and what it can't do. So that's kind of cool. It's cool to see that the Mega Weapon really doesn't have, I guess, destruction powers as much as it has creation. So that's pretty fun. It kind of is it's kind of an opposite to Garmadon, if you will, because Garmadon is obviously very destructive, and the Mega Weapon is pretty, it's just all full of creation. So obviously you can see where the differences would lie. As I take a sip of my water. So, also, I do need to give mention to the flashbacks in this episode, especially the first one, or I think it's the only one, with the pirates and the Destiny's Bounty. That was a pretty cool setup and a pretty cool, I guess, way to build up the backstory of the series. It provided a little bit more context to the overall background of the season, so that's pretty cool, or the series rather. Also, I do need to give an honorable mention to Kai, who is obviously a very good teacher in this episode, and that's pretty much something that I do need to point out as well. I really love Kai teaching Lloyd. It kind of builds up his role a little bit as Lloyd's kind of older brother. I always thought that kind of relationship between Lloyd and Kai was really nice, and this is kind of where that begins. Kai pretty much takes initiative and pretty much becomes like Master Wu, so I thought that was pretty sweet and pretty awesome there on Kai's part. So, with that being said, that'll do it for the good stuff. Let's get into some of the bad. So clearly, this episode isn't all that great, at least to me personally. Not really an episode that I enjoy per se. I never really liked this episode growing up as a kid. But why exactly do I not like this episode? First of all, this is the debut episode of Dareth, who is one of my least favorite characters. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that after watching some of my videos. Dareth ain't the best character out there, at least in my own opinion. Love how Kai tosses Lloyd into a barrel. Yeah, that was pretty cool. He's just like, ugh, and tosses him into the barrel. Obviously, it's not of, malicious intent, but it's just, as you said, for protection. So, pretty cool on Kai's part. Really like Kai in this episode. But Dareth, not so much. Dareth is just obnoxious. And that's kind of why I make fun of him a lot in my episode reviews and in my videos and stuff like that. It's because he's not that great of a character, obviously, in my own opinion. He certainly could be worse, but he's not the best character. And Dareth in this episode doesn't do the episode any favors, so that's pretty much the first thing that I have to point out. Meanwhile, the pirates are pretty one note, I'd say. They're pretty much just one off villains that don't really have a future in Ninjago. I remember when this episode's title got leaked, a bunch of people thought that season 2 was going to be all about the pirates versus the ninja, and that the pirates were going to be the main bad guy in the entire season. Obviously, that turned out to be very, very wrong. But this episode kind of plays with that idea. We'll see more of that in Skybound, I'd say, more of like the pirates versus ninja aspect. But these guys are actually like classic pirates. So obviously they don't do the best in this episode, and they weren't really meant to be anything greater. So that's pretty much something that I need to point out. The pirates weren't really good villains in my opinion. Also, the actual fight and the battle wasn't all that great either. Aside from Lloyd's role in the actual battle on the Black Bounty, the actual battle was pretty boring, in my opinion. There wasn't really a whole lot happening. Sometimes the ninja had some cool moves, and it was kind of cool seeing them use their classic weapons again. And but for the most part, I just found it to be kind of underwhelming and kind of boring. Also, this episode has no consequences whatsoever. Obviously, everything is fine at the end of this episode. The pirates are put in jail. We'll see Captain Soto pop up every now and then, but for the most part, this episode pretty much doesn't really have any effect on the overall story, aside from training Lloyd and building up Lloyd's powers. So this is pretty much the first episode that you can consider to be a filler episode, I guess you could say. The first couple of episodes in season 2 pretty much have the same problem, where they try to build on classic like movie tropes, for example, such as fighting off pirates or participating in a big race or facing off evil duplicates of yourself. That's something that we've seen a lot of shows do. But season 2 pretty much, I guess, takes a lot of those ideas and mashes them all together. So this is basically the first episode of that. So yeah, this episode could have not existed and nothing would change. That's a pretty good way to say it. This episode was kind of useless, in my opinion, apart from Lloyd's powers. So do need to mention that. Also, Garmadon in this episode is kind of dumb, if I can say that. Garmadon is one of my favorite characters, but in this episode, he kind of doesn't act all that smart. For example, he kind of, I guess, plays around with the mega weapon like he's super desperate to kill the Ultra Dragon with it. So, don't know what that was about. He was just so desperate to prove his, I guess, power to these snakes, even though he's already done it in the last episode. He's already proved them. He's already proved himself to these snakes. So why does he need to do it again? I guess that's just my thoughts on that. He gets trapped pretty easily as well by Captain Soto and his crew. Obviously, I know the Mega Weapon drained a lot of his power because that's pretty much what happens. Anytime Garmadon uses the Mega Weapon, he's basically wiped out for the day. But in terms of how he got captured super easily, yeah, not really too big of a fan about that. I understand that he's just learning how to use the mega weapon, but the fact that he acted super desperate in order to get it to work just kind of felt a little uncharacteristic for me, and it wasn't really my favorite thing that Garmadon had ever done. I kind of felt like Garmadon was done dirty in this episode. Also, I do need to give heavy mention to the battle at the end. I kind of mentioned this already, but the actual way that the battle concludes, the ninjas are seemingly, defeated, but then Nia swoops in and saves them. Yeah, pretty much ends off the episode there. Obviously, when the battle was almost over and there was only 2 minutes of the episode left, he was like, "Okay, what's gonna happen?" And then Nia saves him. So, it kind of takes away all the tension from that. But overall, I don't know. This episode had some good stuff in it, specifically stuff that happened with Lloyd. But this episode does have a lot of bad stuff. Yeah, the snakes could easily overpower Garmadon, honestly. It's a pretty interesting aspect to bring up because it does provide a little bit of a plot hole, if you will. Like the snakes should have done that a lot sooner. Why doesn't Garmadon just create a weapon with the altered weapon that destroys everything except Lloyd? Good question. One which we will never know. Instead, let's create pirates. Let's create evil duplicates of the ninja. Whatever. Yeah, this episode wasn't all that great, and I don't really have any sort of reference as to whether or not I like this episode more than the next few episodes because I haven't watched those in a very long time. I'll watch Double Trouble tonight and prep for the stream tomorrow because I think that's the next episode. In the meantime, though, in terms of this episode, let's go ahead and rate the episode out of 10. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4 out of 10, which is the lowest score that I've given on the show so far. Um, yeah, I feel like the picture I have of Garmadon here is it's pretty okay to go along with the score. But let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. I've given my score. Let's see what you guys have. 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, respectable. Obviously, if you like this episode, I'm not going to like discredit anybody for liking this episode. Everyone has their own opinions. In terms of my own opinion, I didn't really care for this episode all that much. Obviously, you guys can feel different, and that is perfectly a-okay. Double Trouble was horrible. Yeah, as far as I can recall, Double Trouble and Ninja Ball Run, I didn't really care for, at all. I liked this episode more. So if I gave this episode a 4 out of 10, oof. But of course, obviously, this is only for the first couple of episodes of season 2. It's going to get better. As soon as the Stone Army shows up, in my opinion, it gets 10 times better. Couple fives, couple tens, all right, fair enough. Threes, fours, fives. So pretty mixed bag, I'd say. Some folks really enjoy this episode, others kind of don't, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Again, obviously, you don't have to, agree with my opinion. You don't have to agree with anybody's opinion in the chat. Everybody can think differently, and everybody can get along. That's the magic of opinions and the magic of the internet. As I take a sip of my water really quick. But yeah, tomorrow we're gonna do Double Trouble. I think that's the next one. So I'll watch that tonight and prep for that for tomorrow's stream. In the meantime, that was my review of episode 15, Pirates versus Ninja. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. In terms of the review portion of the stream, that's pretty much going to do it. So now we get to jump over to the Q&A section because we still got a lot of time. I kind of figured that the review wasn't going to take up all that much time because I didn't really have a whole lot to say that hasn't been said already, and plus a lot of the I guess plot points of this episode were pretty much easily explainable. I didn't really need to go into too much detail, so let's pretty much roll with that. First question, where's Waffle? She's sitting in a chair behind me. She's usually in here when I stream, so yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The first part of season 2 wasn't all that great to me, and I never really cared for it. Even growing up, it wasn't my favorite. So hopefully in these reviews, I can kind of explain a little bit more why I don't like each episode. But obviously, they're not all bad. They do have some redeeming moments, such as this episode, for example. So, um, yeah, Waffle's just chilling behind me. She's usually in here when I'm recording or streaming. She likes to be in here when I'm making videos and stuff. So don't know why. Do my cats eat fast? Well, Waffle's pretty much by her food bowl every chance that she gets. I feel like she's taken up eating as a hobby. Probably not the best thing in the world, but we kind of monitor her. We keep it okay. She's not gonna overeat or anything. She eats like a little bit at a time. First half of season 2 or the fire chapter? Honestly, I'd go with the first half of season 2, just for nostalgia's sake, because even though these episodes aren't all that great in my opinion, there's still a lot that I enjoy from my childhood watching them, so it's a treat to revisit them. The fire chapter doesn't have that same impact to me, so I'd probably go with season 2, you know? I think my cats would love to overeat. Yeah, Waffle's not the skinniest cat out there, but she takes her time and we watch her. So, do you like cats or dogs? I'm more of a cat person. We have 3 cats running around the apartment. In terms of dogs, we don't really have dogs here. We just have cats. So we have 3 cats in our apartment, and then in the apartment below us, they have 3 cats. So overall in the house, we have 6 cats. Pretty good stuff. Ice Chapter versus Season 12? Obviously Season 12, Prime Empire. And to answer the question, do I like Prime Empire? Yeah, I do. Prime Empire is a pretty good season in my opinion. I felt like it was a huge step up from Season 11 in terms of just quality overall. So yeah, Prime Empire is pretty great. I also love the whole futuristic aesthetic of it. I use it for my streams a lot because I really like that kind of background and aesthetic to it. I feel like that's a really cool vibe that it gives off there for Ninjago. So definitely really love that. So yeah, season 12 is great. I love Prime Empire. Rebooted or Prime Empire? Rebooted. Rebooted's the better season. Oh, Waffle equals Garfield. I guess you could say that. She doesn't eat like, you know, lasagna. I love lasagna though. Season 2 does filler episodes, Fire Chapter not so much. Yeah, the Fire Chapter's just got a lot of useless episodes in there. I wouldn't say they're filler, they're more useless. Like, I know I called Pirates vs. Ninja useless, but season 11 is like next level useless in terms of their quote unquote filler episodes. Is this really live or not? Yeah, we're live right now to answer the question. Batman or Superman? I was always a big fan of Batman. I never really cared for Superman. I was never really invested in him at all. I much more preferred Batman, even growing up. Growing up, I wasn't too big into Batman or superheroes, but I always kind of thought Batman was cool. So sometimes I feel like the ninja are more heroes with powers than ninja. Yeah, that's pretty accurate to say. Obviously, with the ninja, they're not so ninja as they could be. For example, they're definitely more like superheroes, like you mentioned before. They're nowhere near like a real ninja. The closest thing that they have to being ninja are, I guess, some of the moves and some of the fighting, but I don't know. Dareth Puffs or Reese's Puffs. Oh, Dareth Puffs, man. They're just so tasty. One of the first pictures in my phone is actually a photo of my Dareth minifigure next to a bowl of Reese's Puffs. It's like one of the earliest pictures in my phone. It's really funny, but you know, just goes to show I was thinking about that way back in the day. In terms of when Dareth Puffs 3 is coming out, I have no idea. I'm no longer involved in that production. Just letting you guys know. Let's see. In season 5, the ninjas saw their future reflections. Do you think we'll ever see them, especially with their redesigns? Honestly, probably not. In terms of the actual reflections, I'm not so sure if they matter anymore per se. It's kind of difficult to, I guess, I don't know, say that they matter now when the designs have changed so much. So I doubt that they matter anymore. I still think that they should have some place in the canon, but just overall, I don't know. It's really not the best thing ever for the modern day Ninjago. Did you hear about the new Lego Marvel and Lego Mario set pictures? We got to be getting Ninjago set pictures soon. Yeah, so earlier today, I didn't see the Mario ones, but I saw the some of the Marvel superhero ones, and obviously we're going to be getting Ninjago stuff soon, I'd imagine. Um, Especially with all these set images coming out, it's clear that Lego's releasing a lot of stuff. So my hope is that later today or later this week, we can actually get the new Ninjago Legacy pictures, maybe even Season 14, depending on what's coming out in January. I have a feeling we'll at least get Legacy. But overall, I think that we should. Did I pick up turkey yet? Nah, we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving here, Chief. What's my favorite anime? I enjoy Clanad and Toradora. Those are probably my two favorites. Very sad animes though. So yeah, if you guys have like fragile hearts, it's probably not a good idea to watch either of those. They get pretty sad, but they are so good. When we get legacy picks, hopefully later today, or sometime this week, we have to. Which Serpentine tribe do I think Kai would fight? Well, with Kai, I thought he was up against the Venomari. I thought that was like his thing. Each one of the ninja pretty much were up against like a certain snake tribe from way back in the day, like in terms of marketing and in the show, I guess. Like you had Kai versus the Venomari, Cole versus the Hypnobrai, Jay versus the Fangpire, and Zane versus the Constricti. And in a way, in the show, they kind of all felt the effects of that. For example, Kai was hit by the venom, Jay was bitten, Cole was hypnotized, and Zane was squeezed. So I suppose you can go ahead and say that each ninja pretty much had a snake tribe to fight, but I always kind of lumped Kai in with the Venomari. Nadokon or Unagami? I think Nadokon's the better character, I'd say. So, what if Lloyd and Nia were canon, like in terms of a couple? That'd be interesting. I feel like they could work in some context, but um, it's not the worst thing ever. Squeezed, yeah. Like, what else do the Constricti do? They just squeeze you, man. That's what they do. It's like, hey, let me just squeeze you really quick. Meanwhile, the other snake tribes are hypnotizing people and biting people, and but the Constricti are like, nah, man, I'm just gonna squeeze them. Do I think that, or wait, did I finish Miles Morales, and what do I think? Yeah, I finished Miles Morales. I 100% completed it. I thought it was pretty good. Not as good as the first game, but still good. Yeah, they can drill holes in the ground, but like, what are they gonna do to the ninja? They could like trap them, I suppose. But for the most part, that's what they do for offense. They just kind of squeeze you. So, what if Lloyd never aged up? Then the final battle would have been really awkward. Just imagine young child Lloyd walking up to the Overlord and beating him. It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. They're based on like boa constrictors and stuff, so it makes sense to me. But in terms of like comparing them with the other snake tribes, I feel like their powers are kind of weak because obviously you got like, again, the Hypnobrai obviously have a lot better power. The Fangpire Venomari, clearly the Constrictor are kind of at a disadvantage here, but they're still good in their own way. Am I going to get any of the new Marvel sets? From what I've seen, I kind of like the newer mechs. Like they have like a Captain America mech and like a Miles Morales mech. Those look kind of cool, especially the Captain America one. What do the Anacondrae do? That's a good question. They turn invisible. They I don't know what that does against the ninja, but you know that's what their power is. Obviously, the Anacondrae, from what we can tell from Pythor, they're pretty like mischievous, I'd say. And in that right, I suppose that's their power. But oh yeah, they can also swallow people. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting. Yeah, that's kind of frightening actually. All right, yeah, let's go with that. I forgot that they could do that. All right. And obviously, since they were like the leaders of the tribes, I guess they were supposed to be a little more intimidating. But I don't know. In terms of powers, I'd say the Venomari, Hypnopry, and the Fangfire have a lot more, I guess, interesting powers than some of the other snake tribes. When do I think a trailer will come out for season 14? Probably not until January of sorts, I'd say. Like season 14 is probably going to be coming out around like April, I'd say. But I don't know. Um, I don't know. I'd say that's a pretty safe estimate, I'd say. Not too sure about that. But yeah, the Anacondrae, I don't know. They're pretty much like the most intimidating tribe out there because they're supposed to be the leaders. But they definitely, I guess, are kind of overwhelmed in terms of power from the other ninja. So, or from no, the other snake tribes, not the other ninja. Wow. All right, I'm gonna take a sip of my water. Brown Ninja versus Purple Ninja. Dude, Nelson has this in the bag. It's not even a competition. Opinion on the Mailman. He's awesome. I really love seeing him in every season. He's one of the best characters, like one of the best background characters. Um, he hasn't shown up lately, but you know, it's pretty cool when he does show up. How are people obtaining season 14 Lloyd? Well, from what I can tell, people sell them on eBay. If you go on eBay, you can find it for kind of crazy prices. I was never really one to buy figures off of eBay early because again they're super expensive and I can wait. I don't need it right this minute. I can wait until the sets come out and buy it off of Bricklink for a cheaper price. But people sell them on eBay, um, and people buy them. In terms of how the people get them and how they sell them on eBay, a lot of them are stolen from the factory and put up on eBay for high prices. That's pretty much how it goes for any Ninjago leak. Usually leaks are of minifigures that were stolen from the Lego factory, so it's not the best thing ever, but that's how people do it. um, yeah, the mailman, he will be missed. I kind of miss him. If Master Wu dies, what season would I want him to die? I feel like Wu should at least die at some point in the series. I feel like that's an inevitable thing. But in terms of when, I'd say maybe in the final season. So yeah, stolen from the factory usually. I mean, it's not like people are getting the sets early or anything like that. People have connections with Lego at some point, and sometimes Lego workers will steal figures and sell them on the secondhand market for high prices, such as on eBay, and people will buy them. So that's how people get them early. It's like there's not really any other way that they could get them early. But that's pretty much the gist of that. I've never bought a figure early or anything like that. The closest that I've gotten to buying a figure early was I bought some of the Fire Chapter figures off of Bricklink in late July when the set's released in August. So that's pretty much the closest I've gotten. But obviously the sets were out in other parts of the world at the time, so it's not like I have stolen minifigures on me or anything like that. The sets already came out in other parts of the world. It's just the U.S. didn't get them until very, very late. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what it that's pretty much what it is. The new ninja or old ninja just kind of depends on the ninja. I feel like for the most part, all the new designs work really well, with a few exceptions here and there. But I kind of like them. I feel like they work. I remember where I was when the new designs were revealed, or when it was revealed that the ninja would be switching over to new designs. I was out for a walk, and then I got the notification that the Sons of Garmadon trailer dropped, and I remember seeing it and thinking, "Oh my God, the community is gonna explode," and it kind of did. A bunch of people got upset. So, Do I think Nelson will have a bigger part in season 14? It's hard to say. I always thought that it'd be really cool if Nelson could have like an actual role in the series, or if they could actually, introduce him as a ninja with powers. That'd be cool. So, Tanner X and Nia, no. Ship me with Skylar and then we'll be happy. Don't really care for Nia. Hope the ninjas' personality go back to what they were pre-season 8. Yeah, I think for the most part they did a good job translating that over. Some of them are a little different, but for the most part I feel like a lot of them do capture the same character, if you will, that they performed in earlier seasons. It's not the worst thing ever, but I can understand where you're coming from there. Why don't I actually watch the episode? In terms of like on stream, obviously I watch the episodes off stream so I can write notes and prepare. But in terms of on stream, I can't do that because of copyright. Like if I had the actual episode in the bottom corner, I mean, trust me, I've thought about this before. I thought it would be really cool to like watch the episode on stream all together and then, write notes and review it live, but that's just not possible because I want my stuff to be able to be monetized and stuff, so gonna have to bite the bullet there. But overall, it's still like, it's alright. We get the job done. Jay doesn't feel serious anymore. Kai's definitely not himself. Neither Cole, Zane, or Nia. Lloyd's the only one that's okay. Um, yeah, I suppose so. I personally feel like it's like an interesting shift. I feel like they did a good job translating it, but to each his own. Will they open a PO box? Probably not anytime soon. Um, I want to at some point, but I don't really have the funds at the moment. So maybe sometime in the future. But obviously, you guys can always like tweet me or message me on Instagram, something. I try to get back to messages as fast as I can. Sometimes I don't get to messages, but that's just because I'm like kind of busy and I get a lot of messages on a daily basis and it's hard to keep up. So just letting you guys know about that. A lot of folks had questions. Can I upload season 13? No, just for like the same reason as I said before. If watching the episode on stream would get me a copyright strike, that would definitely. So I don't know. Yeah, copyright 2020 is insane. 2020 is just a fantastic year overall. Obviously sarcasm, but it's just like, oh my god. 2020 needs to slow down at some point, man. It was good for the first couple of months, but, as soon as March rolled around, ooh, the year kind of fell apart. Imagine if the new elemental power would be Little Nelson's power. That'd be awesome. Wu's T's or Ninjago decoded. Honestly, probably decoded if I had to pick one. That's like, no, I'd probably say decoded. That's probably, no. Nelson was probably trying some ninja moves and that's how he broke his legs. Yeah, probably. I feel like it'd be really cool if he was like still in the wheelchair though, as a ninja. That'd be awesome. But I feel like he could have a power if they really wanted to give him one. I always thought that it would be cool to have what do you call it, a cosmic or space power for Nelson, because I've always kind of associated that with the color purple. Nelson's purple. Yeah. Got any new AMVs coming up soon? I wish. I have an idea for one that I really want to do, but I'm not sure when I actually have time to sit down and watch it, or sit down and actually, make it. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff that I'm up to right now. A lot of times videos kind of keep me busy during the day, but I don't know. I wish that I could have a little bit more time. If I didn't have to sleep, I could get a lot more stuff done. I mean, I hardly sleep regardless, but, if I could cut out those 5 hours, that'd be super good. Yeah, that'd be a great way for Nelson to come back. We need to give Nelson some powers here. I feel like they could definitely make Nelson a ninja. That'd be awesome. You need sleep? Yeah. A lot of times it's hard for me to get to sleep. I usually just lie awake at night for the most part until I resort to popping a melatonin. So that's what happened last night. It's probably what's going to happen tonight. I don't know what the deal is. It's not like I'm stressed out or anything, so I don't know. But for the most part, yeah, Nelson should come back. Do I like season 7? Hands of Time? Yeah, it's alright. It's probably one of the weaker seasons out there, but for the most part, I feel like people are way too hard on it. We're gonna let March of the Oni run a little bit, just switching it up. So, I don't know. Yeah, Hands of Time is pretty good. Due to production errors and production halts, a lot of Hands of Time doesn't look all that great, visually, but I don't know, for the most part, it's okay. It's not the best season ever. Imagine Nelson is young Garmadon with purple power. That'd be interesting. What if Cyrus Borg has the last element? That could work. I feel like if they wanted to make like one of the side characters an elemental master, that could be interesting. Like a side character that doesn't really have powers yet, that could be super fun. In terms of what the last elemental power will be, it's not so clear at the moment, but hopefully that can be explained pretty soon. We're set to get that book in August, I think, of next year, which is obviously a very long time away, and season 15 would probably be out at the time, so why is Iron Doom like $300? Well, at the time of release, it was probably cheaper, um, but over time, obviously, they go up in price, especially on third-party sites like eBay, especially when they're discontinued off of sites like Lego. Amazon usually jacks up the price a lot, so just kind of the way that this works. Do I want more elemental people? Honestly, I feel like with elemental masters, I feel like we're pretty much good. As long as elemental masters are, I guess, descended from previous ones, I'm fine with that. But in terms of introducing a new one, don't know. I feel like if they wanted to introduce a new elemental master, they had to be very, very careful with that. Um, my recommendation would be, again, making a side character an elemental master. What if they gave Dareth the last elemental power? I would probably I would not like that. I would not like that very much. I'm getting a lot of work in college. Well, right now I'm like prepping for the next semester, so I don't really have a lot of work right now. That's why I'm able to do more YouTube videos at the moment. So I'm taking advantage of that. I took a little bit of a break from school, but now I'm coming back for the next semester, coming back to finish. So that's going to be fun. But it was a nice break. I was able to make a lot of videos. We have Ben with the donation. Thank you very much. He says, "Love your videos." Thank you, man. Thank you for donating. Thank you for being here, and thank you for watching. Thank you very much. That's actually really cool. Can I put season 13 pics? I don't have those on my OBS right now, but I could totally add them at some point. I'll make a note of that. I can add them hopefully for the next stream. It's not that hard to add pictures on, but during stream it's kind of difficult. So I'll make a note of that. How am I feeling? Feeling good. Kind of got a little bit of a headache still from yesterday, but for the most part we're fine. Just woke up yesterday and just like really did not wanna talk about Pirates versus Ninja. I was like, ugh, I gotta do that. So what I did was I canceled the stream and rolled back over to bed. Unfortunately, the community tab kind of screwed me over, but what's my plan for a birthday? I don't have a plan. I'm just gonna treat it like a normal day, I guess, if that makes sense. So, is Ninjago copying My Hero for elemental powers? Probably not. A lot of the powers in My Hero aren't really elemental related. They're just kind of regular superpowers, if you will. So, I don't know if anyone's copying anyone. I feel like there's inspiration back and forth, but I feel like they take inspiration from other things as well. Ninjago, for instance, takes a lot of inspiration from The Last Airbender in terms of powers. In terms of what My Hero takes inspiration from, My Hero is pretty much taking inspiration from a lot of Western movies. So, like superhero movies, like the Marvel stuff. I mean, All Might is supposed to be like the stereotypical American hero, so yeah. Do I think Cyrus Borg is underpowered? I feel like he's in the right position right now. He's kind of like the tech guy, if you will. He runs his own business, but whenever the ninja needs something, they go to him. I feel like that's a pretty good role for him. I feel like in general he could be utilized a little bit more, but for the most part, I don't know. I feel like he's perfect. I feel like he's in the right spot. I regret not getting Ninjago City. It went up over twice the value now. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. I never got the Ninjago City. It's something that I wish I got. But in terms of stuff like that, you could probably find it for cheap on Bricklink. Not really for super cheap, but you could probably buy it for around the same price that it was when it was launched. Obviously, you want to get like a used copy without like the box and stuff. That'd be even cheaper. I don't know. Bricklink is a good place for that. I'd highly recommend checking out Bricklink. Do I think the first Ninjutsu Master could have prevented his death, and do I think we'll ever see his face? In terms of his face, we probably won't ever see it. I recently did a video talking about that and my reasonings as to why we probably won't see it. But in terms of how he could have prevented his death, I don't know. I feel like that was just kind of inevitable. I feel like the first Ninjutsu Master just kind of laid down and he's like, yep, this is where I die. So that's probably that. Chat is lagging. Yeah, I have the chat opened on two different screens right now just because it's kind of behind on my main screen. So I have my second monitor open, kind of relaying the chat in real time. I don't know, kind of works for me. I'm not sure why the chat's kind of going slow today. There's usually something wrong with the streams. For the most part, it's going pretty good though, aside from the chat. But I still see all your messages, don't worry. Yeah, the city set though, if you guys wanted to get it, I'd recommend looking on Bricklink. I've looked on Bricklink before, but I still really don't have the ambition to get it. I want to see what the Ninjago City Gardens set that's going to be coming up has in terms of its potential and what it looks like. Because if it connects to the older Ninjago City, I might go back and get it. So, but there's ways to work around that. There's ways to go ahead and get that set for cheap. It's my favorite MCU movie. I really like the first Iron Man. That's probably my favorite one. Which season is this in terms of background images? This is March of the Oni, season 10. Yeah, I hope City Gardens. In a way, I kind of want to see the City Gardens set like not connect to the older Ninjago city stuff because I kind of want it to be its own thing because I kind of want it to be that 10th anniversary Ninjago set. I don't really want it to be lumped in with movie stuff, if that makes sense. But if it is, I won't be too upset. Either way, I'm probably gonna pick up the Ninjago City Gardens when it comes out. I'm not gonna, not gonna sleep on that one. I'll get that one, especially if it's just a 10th anniversary set. Cole or Skylar. I feel like Cole's a better character, but that's just because Skylar doesn't have, I guess, all that much screen time. If they gave Skylar a lot more time to, develop, I feel like maybe that could work. But you know, that's my stance on that. Did the movie even have a garden? I don't think so. I don't remember it having a garden. So I hope it's just a specific movie, or not a movie set. I hope it's a specific TV show set. Um, Why is Prime Empire and Master of the Mountain the same season on Netflix? That's because Netflix doesn't really know what they're doing. A lot of the times they screw stuff up, and that's one of the primary examples of them messing something up. So that's why. It's just because Netflix is kind of incompetent, but it's not the worst. At least it's there. It's not the worst thing ever. Could be worse. We could just not have it, but do we like Star Wars? I like some of the movies. Um, I want to watch The Mandalorian because I heard that's really good. Haven't seen that yet. In terms of the movies, the ones that I really like Revenge of the Sith because it's super funny, and I really like The Force Awakens. I feel like that's genuinely good. But those are the only two that I like. I don't really care for any of the other Star Wars films. I've seen all of them, and I don't care about them. Um, Yeah, Fire Chapter, Ice Chapter brought together. So Netflix thinks that it was the same for Prime Empire and Master of the Mountain. Honestly, you're probably not far off, but that just goes to show that Netflix doesn't know what they're doing. Do I prefer Jay or Cole? I really like Cole. Cole's my favorite ninja. Jay is alright. Jay used to be my favorite, but he's kind of bumped down the list a little bit. He's below Zane and Lloyd right now, but Jay's still cool. Do I hate or dislike Nexonites? I'm kind of indifferent on Nexonites, if we're being honest. Nexonites, I've seen the first couple of episodes for Nexonites. Can't talk, but I thought it was okay. I thought the Nexonites was fine. I didn't think it was anything too special, and I didn't really watch it. I never got any of the sets, but I'm kind of indifferent on it. It's not terrible. It's not great. It just kind of exists. And when it got canceled, I wasn't sad or anything. I was just kind of like, all right, well, that's to be expected, but I wasn't like celebrating either like I was with Chima. No offense to any Chima fans out there. Really don't like Chima. I'm sure lots of folks in the chat can agree with that. Will Christmas Sweater Lloyd be released? I think he's coming out in like a specific magazine from overseas, I want to say. I'm not sure what country it's coming out in. I'm not sure which magazine it's coming out in. I just know that it's coming out in some type of Lego magazine that's not in the US. So Chima's alright. I don't know. Chima never really appealed to me. Chima kind of always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was just kind of like, this thing. I remember watching the first couple of episodes and just being like, no, I don't like it. My brother was really into Chima though. My younger brother, when that came out, he was kind of into it for for a little bit, but he kind of dropped out of that pretty quickly. Um, but he did have some of the sets, but I never really got into it. Chima kept confusing me who was good and evil. Yeah, I don't know. I stopped watching after the first 2 episodes, man. I don't know what went on. I bought some Chima sets. I bought some of the Legend Beasts back in the day because I thought those were super cool. I remember getting the crocodile one because I thought that one was really cool. But, I ended up getting rid of that. I ended up selling some other stuff that I had for Chima because at the end of the day, it's not the best thing. I never really got into the show, so why did I have the sets? Who knows? Jay with freckles or Jay without freckles. I feel like the original design for Jay works a lot better. That's like the only old design that I kind of wish would be brought back. I really don't like the new design for Jay. I like his hairstyle. I don't really care for the fact that he looks younger, in my opinion. But Chima actually sucked. It wasn't all that great. Which character do I dislike the most in the entire Ninjago series? The first one that comes to mind is Dareth because we just talked about him. But yeah, I don't know. Probably Dareth or Clutch Powers. One of those two. Take it what you will. Either of those two. I could go either one. Um, what if Nia and Skylar were canon in terms of a couple? I don't know. That could work. Um, I don't really see a lot of chemistry between them, but I feel like there's a lot more chemistry between Nia and Jay and Kai and Skylar. But that's just because they're actually established couples in the show. What happened to Ronan? He was just kind of written out of the series. I don't think there's a specific thing that happened to him. He just kind of got dropped out of the series, and we're probably not going to see him again, which kind of sucks, but that's just the sad truth. Do I like Scales? Yeah, he's pretty cool. Scales is probably one of the better Serpentine characters, in my opinion. He's up there with Pythor. I really like Pythor's character as well. So you add, Scales in there. It's a pretty interesting dynamic duo. I feel like they work really well with each other. Ronan needs to come back. Unfortunately, that's not up for us to. That's not up to us. That's up to the show writers. And if they don't want to come back, then if they don't want to bring him back, then that's just all we can do. New Ninjago City is 510 on Bricklink. Yeah, so you might want to look for like a used copy or like just like a bundle of all the pieces, without instructions or the box. It's gonna be the same set, but obviously it's not gonna, be brand new. But I've bought and used sets before, and it's not the worst thing ever. Sometimes though, with used sets, the stickers are misaligned, and it's kind of difficult. Obviously, if you guys have built a Lego set with stickers, you know that you pretty much only get one shot, and it kind of gets messed up if you rip it off and try to replace it again. So sometimes the stickers are kind of misaligned, but I've had pretty good luck so far. Um, which elemental descendant do I like the most? Like which one of the current elemental masters is the best? Uh, well, in terms of people that aren't the ninja and people that aren't Skylar, I really like Karloff. I feel like he's kind of cool as a character. I feel like he's really funny whenever he's around, so I kind of like him. If we're not counting the ninja or Skylar, who's obviously my default choice. Otherwise, Nero is pretty cool. I like him too. I like Griffin Turner, obviously. All the elemental masters are pretty cool. There's not one that I really just don't like. So, opinions on the Mino creature. It did exactly what I was expecting it to do, and that's pretty much my stance on it. The set is kind of cool, and I kind of want the set for the Mino creature, but I don't know, it didn't play that big of a role in the show. I really like how the set is designed overall, though. I kind of like that. I don't know. The Mino creature in the show basically did exactly what I thought it was going to do. Why do they just call Griffin Turner by his last name? Who knows? It's probably just one of those weird things in Ninjago that doesn't make much sense, but just kind of exists. There's a couple examples of that. I wish I had an exact answer for that. Favorite Ninjago animal? Gotta go with the dragons, like the original elemental dragons. Those are awesome. Um, but Ninjago's got a lot of interesting creatures, so you can't really go wrong with any of them. Who would win, the Ninjago community or the Star Wars community? Honestly, take your pick. They're both kind of, I guess, not so perfect in their own regard. As much as I love the Ninjago community and love being a part of it, there's definitely some not so good things out there. Lots of drama, but it's neither here nor there. Most useless thing in Ninjago. Um, the most useless thing. probably the since we're talking about March of the Oni, or we have March of the Oni in the background, probably the new golden weapons, because they really don't do much and they just kind of disappeared. That's interesting. They fended off the Oni for what they did, but it's not like the ninja kept them after they got done with them. You know, they just kind of left them away or whatever. They just kind of lost them. So I'd say that they had a lot of potential, but I don't think they were done the best way. Every 2021 Ninjago set adds up to $200. That seems kind of low. If that's only what that is, and that's pretty impressive. So I hope we get those set images soon. That'd be cool. What if Ninjago's turned into anime? Would I get used to that? I feel like eventually I would get used to it. I feel like that change, though, would be super drastic to the show, and I feel like that would drive a lot of people away. Even the redesigns to Season 8 ended up driving a lot of folks away from the show, which is kind of unfortunate. But if that was the change that a lot of people left over, I can only imagine how many people would leave if the whole series was changed to an anime. I always thought like that'd be a really good idea, but the realistic thing about it is that, you know, it's gonna drive a lot of fans away. I think, yeah, I feel like that theory is true too. In case you guys don't know, I had a theory that the golden weapons were kind of melted down and used to create the ninja's new weapons starting in season 11, because a lot of them do have golden, I guess, accents to it. And considering how the golden weapons are not powered up anymore, I figured that Kai or someone else just kind of melted down the metal of the weapons and turned them into new weapons for the ninja. You know, I feel like that could work out. In my mind, that's kind of, I guess, canon, if you will. If it was changed to anime, they wouldn't be able to market it to young kids. In a way, I agree with you, but in a way, it's like, well, some anime exists for younger kids. Like Pokemon is an anime that exists for younger children, or at least that's the demographic it's pushing towards. So if Pokemon can do it, I feel like Ninjago could do it. But whether or not Ninjago should do it, that's the bigger question there. A little bit of a Jurassic Park reference there, if you guys caught that. But just overall, I feel like Ninjago's not going to turn into anything besides like a Lego series. You know, I feel like it's comfortable being what it is. So, um, every Legacy 21 set, yeah. So that's pretty interesting. What about Zero Two? Zero Two is great. I love Zero Two. I have a picture of Zero Two up in my room. She looks amazing. In case you guys haven't seen Darling in the Franxx, highly recommend you check that out. It's pretty interesting mecha anime, I'd say. But for the most part, it's pretty fun. A lot of people don't like it, but I really enjoy it. It's made by Studio Trigger, one of my favorite anime studios. uh, let's see. Recently finished March of the Oni. What do you think Lloyd chose to go back to Ninjago? Well, Lloyd did it to be with his friends. And that's pretty much the only reasoning as to why he went back. He didn't want to be with the first Ninjutsu Master. He wanted to be with his friends. So I want to make a video as to like what happened if Lloyd would have went with the first Ninjutsu Master. I want to make a video talking about what that would look like. So I'll write that down. Excuse me for a second. Went to... Alright, so with a few minutes left of the stream, let's turn it over to some rapid fire questions. The stream's almost over already. That's crazy. We got a few minutes left. It does go by pretty quick. But let's go ahead and answer or ask some questions that I can answer within like a first couple sentences or one or two sentences. You guys get it. Rapid fire questions. Green Screen Gary versus the Mailman. Oh, Green Screen Gary has him in the bag, man. Will I watch Stranger Things? It's the plan eventually to watch it. Probably not anytime soon, though, unfortunately. Which designs do I not want back? Well, I feel like for the most part, all the ninjas' new designs work except for Jay's. How would I feel if Wu died? Very sad, but I'd kind of expect it. Cole or Garmadon? Oh, Cole's my favorite ninja, but Garmadon's the better character, so probably Garmadon if we're being honest. Favorite elemental dragon? I really like, from the original 4, I really like Rocky. He's super cool, super fun. Am I a ghost? I wish. Do I like the Ninjago anime part of the series? When it's done right, I feel like it works, but just overall, they could have done a lot better with it. Do I watch Ninjago for fun or just when they come out? Well, I watch Ninjago because I like Ninjago, so I guess it's for fun. But obviously, I do a lot of videos on it too. So, half mask or the Lego Movie mask? Ooh, probably the half mask. The Ninjago movie mask is cool and all, but it's kind of a pain to try to, you know, swap it from one ninja to the other. But the half mask is just a little bit easier. It doesn't have that extra step, but it's still the same amount of, I guess, inconvenience. Monkey Kid style for 2D episodes? Absolutely. I feel like Monkey Kid absolutely nailed it with its art style. Ninjago could definitely benefit from something like that. What do I think about the Garmadon Wu and Misako love triangle? It's very strange, but I understand it. I don't like how when Garmadon died, Master Wu immediately went to Misako. It's like, dude, just chill out. Like, her husband just died, man. Do I think Lego City could be part of the 16 realms? Maybe. I feel like the other 16 realms, or the other realms that we haven't seen yet, could be other Lego themes, but I'm not sure what else they would be. Favorite Time Blade and Hands of Time? I like the Reversal Blade. That one's probably the best one in terms of power. I really like that a lot. Fugitive versus Cyrusborg. uh, Fugitive. Fugitive's one of the best characters in the show. Do you remember Lloyd in the Lego movie? I do. He was in there. Lloyd ZX was in there for a little bit. I think Misako has some feelings for Wu still, but she's happy being single. Yeah, obviously Misako had a lot of feelings towards Wu, but she kind of got swayed towards Garmadon. Makes sense. Cyborg or Beast Boy? What, from Teen Titans? I was always a Cyborg fan. Who do I dislike more, Ronan or Dareth? Oh, Dareth. I don't even dislike Ronan. I just feel like he has a lot of, I guess, unlikable personality traits. Dareth is far worse. As I take one final sip of the water. Top 10 worst and best episodes. That's on the list of stuff to do. I just need a lot of time to do those. She probably would have married both if she could have. Yeah, they could have done something with that. Don't want to get too far into that, but you know. Do I think Ronan's family should be reintroduced? I feel like at some point they could, just to kind of establish that Ronan's family does exist. So, do you remember when Cole and Jay had that feud for Nia? Yeah, it's pretty much that. Um, in terms of who Nia should end up with, obviously I've always shipped her with Jay, but I feel like her and Cole isn't the worst pairing ever. I feel like they could work out if they really made it work. And let's answer one more question before we end off the stream. Let's get one more in here. That's actually a good question though to end off with. How much do I need to, or how much do I need to research, or do I remember everything? For the most part, for Ninjago videos, when I do them, I pretty much remember everything because I've been with Ninjago since day one. I've kind of rewatched the series at several points. I know a lot about Ninjago. But in terms of, I guess, how much I need to research, sometimes if I'm doing a video, like there are some moments in between when I'm reviewing episodes or when I'm talking about just anything during videos, there are points where I need to pause and look something up just to make sure I'm saying the right thing. I'm not right all the time. Sometimes I do fact check myself, but for the most part, I remember everything. I don't really need to do a whole lot of research. Um, so I hope that answered your question there. With all that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's stream. We reviewed Pirates versus Ninja, so that was pretty much that. Tomorrow we're going to be reviewing Double Trouble. For those of you guys that still need the streaming information, this is what we got. Streaming Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. Episode review plus a Q&A. If there's ever a moment where I can't stream, I'll let you guys know through my community tab, and hopefully it'll actually notify you guys. Sometimes it doesn't work, but, you know, I try. With that being said, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Tomorrow we will be back with a new review. Stay tuned on the channel. We got a few more videos coming out for today, so hopefully you guys stick around for those. And thank you all for tuning in, watching, hanging out, answering or asking questions. Pretty fun. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I will catch you guys in the next stream. My name is TannerFishies.